when you think about like the course of your career and just all the spaces that you've led in and the work you do now, how would you define leadership? It can be such a big, like, ambiguous word sometimes. There's so many definitions. But for you, Urvashi, how do you define leadership?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. But I would say people now are looking for leaders that are visionary. And that might look like different things at different times. Sometimes you are looking for someone who will not take no for an answer. Sometimes you're looking for someone who isn't satisfied with the solutions that are displayed and they're looking to see whether something else can be designed, an innovative solution. Whatever it might be, we're looking for conscientious leaders who are looking to make an impact at a broader level as opposed to just watching the bottom line every quarter. And let me just say for the record, that's extremely important. However, it should not come at a trade-off for human health and wellness, for environmental wellness, because at the end of the day, there's a very strong business case for why all of that is materially extremely important to businesses. So the case for why is closed. Leaders that are visionary, I think, are really, really important in today's environment because they are going to define the course of that particular firm or that industry for the next 50 to 100 years to ensure that our kids still know that these firms exist at that time and they're able to successfully redefine themselves and stay relevant and deliver upon the promises that people are demanding of them.
I want to unpack a question with you that's coming up for me in thinking about visionary leadership in the work that you do. The bottom line, the broader macro level impacts of organizations and business and on health and wellness. And it feels like, sometimes the bottom line is urgent. It's very, we can name it, we can point to it, we need to, focus on that. It's easier. Mm-hmm. And then some of, I think, your vision, the work that you do is saying yes and really kind of shedding light on the importance of these other factors that don't, I would say, like maybe for a lot of folks don't feel quote unquote that urgent. Mm-hmm. It's not seen that making that connection is a little bit more distant. How do you like mend that disconnect? And in your vision, in your work, in your leadership, how do you ensure that it remains as urgent as the bottom line, as these other aspects that may pull attention in other ways?
Yeah, I think there's I forget who said it, but I think there's a very famous quote on how problems cannot be solved at the level that they were created. And so, yeah. And so what I would say is that very often, and this is just something that I've found as I've been working in this space, that a lot of my, whether it is narrative or crafting business solutions or crafting business cases, a lot of it often involves not talking about why we're doing this and how our focus is on population segment ABC or on sustainability and human health and wellness. A lot of times we're focusing, because the thing is that a lot of times when these solutions are developed, people are very focused on the next quarter and the next quarter and things like that. And that sort of thinking actually, I think sometimes makes them assume that certain innovations or certain even process improvements, not innovations, just something that you can do better this quarter than what was occurring last quarter. It makes them think that this is impossible. We can't possibly create that pilot. We can't possibly launch that into our next phase. But when we look at it more broadly from a business case level to say, okay, if I created a drop-in replacement at a manufacturing level, or if I created a strategic partnership that could supply something or whatever it might be, and that could impact our business operations and create X% margin or whatever it is, often that's the compelling factor. The ancillary benefit is that there is reduced exposure, there's reduced risks, there's going to be increased market penetration because consumers really, really care about what's going on in their body, especially in certain segments where, like food and beverage, cosmetics, there are certain, like baby food, there's certain markets where people first think about safety and go beyond that to think about whether something is truly good for them. And in some sectors, that's a little bit more opaque. And the reason for that is that sometimes some sectors are just more complex. For example, in healthcare, sometimes we're so overwhelmed with our with with the lack of transparency in our healthcare billing and what a certain service might be and what it includes and all of these things that we don't have the knowledge to ask our providers, well, what's also the side effect of the anesthetic gas that you're giving me? And is there like a green chemistry option for this? Is there like a certain innovation that we could, I read about something. People aren't normally going to do that level of research to understand anesthetics to that degree. So going back to my quote on problems can't be solved at the level they were created, it's up to us at the business level to make the business case such that something can be replaced more easily or outline a roadmap for when it can either pilot or just become the norm, and actually put the momentum behind launching that and work with business leaders to do that because the business case is so compelling.